Previously on the Breaking Brad podcast.
Some juicy goss about our time in the wrestling biz.
I just want to be in a place with someone that runs it, that's mature.
There's a lot of unwillingness to take advice and criticism.
It's not going to hiatus, mate. It's fucking done, it's kaput.
Let's talk about friends that think it's so funny that somebody got injured at a wrestling show and, let's just blame it on them because those guys should have worn the Lonsdale boots and those guys shouldn't have even had a match in the first place. Do one. Oh, you've got to have your Lonsdale boots. When you come to UKW, you're on day zero, mate. Even though, people like Matthew have trained since they were 13 and have been booked on more shows than you've appeared on UKW TV, you stupid. And the other kid who's going, oh, well, yeah, Bradley deserved to get injured, whatever, all of this. Sorry, mate, but you had the same match series on YouTube with the same dude about 7 weeks in a row and did the same fucking match over and over again. How do I know that? Because my friend Matthew, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me mentioning him because he listens to the podcast and he actually likes it, so fair play.
Hi, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. He watched it week in and week out for 2 months straight just so we could all take the piss out of it.
And yes, you can feel free to fucking blur that if you want. Don't, but do if you know. But you self-righteous, pretentious, lanky, but you've went down dark.
I hope you've got your Lonsdale boots on for this arse whooping.
How sick and vile yes, sure, I've done and said some horrific things, but I've certainly never wished injury upon someone. And to say, oh yeah, well he was right to get hurt, he's right to get injured. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fuck you hard. Which is probably ironic that I'm fucking you hard via a podcast, because I can guarantee you've never seen a woman's cha-cha in your life. But yeah, no, that's bullshit. That's fucking sick, and that's vile to essentially laugh that someone got sick. I understand if it's a little sprain or some little knock or, the worst of a concussion, it's not a good thing as a concussion, but a little bang on the head or whatever. But fucking snapping my arm fully in half to the fact it's dangling off my fucking shoulder, suffering severe nerve damage to which, of course, I'm still dealing with to this day, and I'm going to deal with it for a long fucking time afterwards, for you to laugh and say I deserve that. Fuck the both of you.
But it's just an unpaid charity show.
The unpaid charity show thing I'm not asked about because the show that they ended up doing, it has a max capacity of 50 people anyway, and the show that we did had over 100 people in attendance and raised over £1,300 for cancer research, so... Oh, and one last little bit of drama. We have talked about it since, so it's not that much of drama, but in regards to chairman, maybe next time on said unpaid charity show, you can take the bollocking when no one turns up to your training session, your guest seminar, when your guest seminar person, whatever you call them, the teacher, comes up to me and gives me a load of shit, because if you decided to book that on the same day you knew a show you was working and half of your roster was working on that day, you should have cancelled that guest seminar. I shouldn't have got shit for it, had to go out there and have jitters, which I was already nervous as fuck as it was, because it was my first one-on-one match in front of a proper live crowd. That could have put me off my game. That, in part, could have also contributed to the fact that, shit went wrong with me and Bradley. But no, I'll take all the bollocking for that. Not you. You still owe him some...
You think you're going to a charity show to fucking bitch and moan anyway.
Worry about it. It's just not necessary.
Yeah, I was trying to make it as vague as possible, so I think we'll just leave it there. Anyway, but technically it's not his fault. I understand why he was pissed off, but you shouldn't have someone book him on and pay him money to come if no one's going to turn up, because most of them are going to be at an event that was already previously established.
In that case, they're both fucking idiots. He knew the show was on. It's not like they didn't have fucking trainees up at the place anyway. I can name at least 3 or 4 people local to that area that could have gone to that session, but just didn't, because, well, surprise, surprise, those trainees are lazy fuckers. Ironically, it's the people that fucking travelled the most and the longest and the furthest out there that put the most work in, and that never barely got booked. And what pisses me off is that a certain someone that I won't name, do you know, fuck it, I will. What pisses me off is the fact that Connor hasn't been booked in fucking months. He's your best fucking trainee and you don't book him for your shows. Yet you have. Are you taking the piss?
Everyone can do what they want, be who they want, right? But I will say, and I will admit this, furries is just something I'm like, I don't get that. All I'm saying is,
Yeah.
right, some people need to learn that when you bitch at people for not helping putting up the ring, but then go out and have a cigarette and then in the middle of the training session smell like cigarettes, and then when we're putting the ring down and we all want to rush and get a train home and you're there texting while we're all holding the posts, yeah, it might be no surprise why you don't get booked.
Richard, I can tell you one event. Go ahead, mate.
I want to chime in very quick there, just on you mentioned about putting the ring down, right? Trainees, I cannot stress this enough, right? Put the ring up, take the ring fucking down. If the company you are attending needs to set up and pack away, help. You want to get the opportunity to perform, you want to have the experience of being in a ring. You know, not everybody gets paid, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry, but for me, people who are being paid, there is no excuse for you. Unless you were travelling, 12 hours each way to go to a show or something stupid like that, you should be accounting for helping take the ring down if that's what's needs doing. Trainees, there is no question about it. It is the best way to show a promoter that you give a flying fuck about the show at all, right? And I am fed up, and this happened so much, where they will be fine to train, they will be conveniently feeling sick at the start of the session, never put the ring up, and then they will have conveniently been injured in the last 15 minutes of the session and be unable to take the ring down, and then be seen sprinting out of the doors. And in one case, they've been seen that very night out on the piss.
Or,
The
doing really
Warhound.
cringy TikToks with their American Discord kit and that they're only ever going to see once in their life.
The Warhound. Fucking brush your teeth, lad.
Yeah, right. This might be an unpopular opinion. This might rub some people the wrong way. No company, no wrestling company should be training children. Full stop. Nobody under 18, right? And I say that purely because, right, we know wrestling's not really a thing it's not legally a sport. It's not a performance art. It's not regulated in any way. There's no official way to make sure that those children are 100% safe. There's no guidelines to what children can learn in that. At least when they're doing martial arts classes and stuff like that, there's a structure, and these people have been doing it for long enough, and they know what's safe to teach children. Wrestling, the variation in talent is that vast in this country. No children should be involved at all. It's not worth the risk. Even parents that, oh, well, I'm there every week and this, that, and the other, I don't care. I'm sorry, your child shouldn't be there. It doesn't matter how often you were there, it takes one time backstage. And, no, not every place is going to be like that. But wrestling has a habit of drawing in some really disgusting people, and it's not worth the risk until it can be effectively dealt with.
That as well.
Yeah, I don't agree with kids wrestling, man. What if they hit the neck the wrong way or their arm the wrong way, and they have, when they go through a growth spurt, they have like a body deformity, or they have a hunchback, or their growth gets stopped because they've hurt their legs so much that their legs can't grow for some reason. That is dumb. That is actually dumb. Sure, there's younger people that are extremely talented. The one that comes to name is West Danger, but he's at a stage someone like him would understand the risks. I'm talking like some of the kids they take on there look like they've barely got out the cot. 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds wrestling training. I don't care whatever your fucking parental excuse is. I don't care what your excuse is as a whole. Until your kid has gone through the right development stages and growth period where their body can adjust and adapt to it, no fucking kid should be stepping in a ring at all. Not one chance. And I actually do think that people that do that should get checked up on and looked at, because that's fucking risky. A trainer could have a really good relationship with a parent, but one slip and that kid snaps a neck. That mum could easily go, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking sue your ass."
And the best part is, he would win.
Why would you allow a kid to do that as well? Like,
Yeah,
you
but
know that they have to sign some form of waiver. I think the company that West trained at previously does do that, but other companies that I'm aware of that do train kids, I really don't think they do. It's not hit and miss at all. It's very much a miss, and it's just not okay. I get it. It's just an extra bit of coin in your pocket, but it's not worth it when you could possibly endanger a kid. Because it's not like they're just doing these fun little things and whatever. You see them going. I've seen clips where they go up to the fucking ropes and they do swantons and shit. Like Travis said, what if they get the leg caught or they slip and fucking like something happens? Sure, they land on a mat, but what the fuck's a mat gonna do when you're landing on fucking solid steel and wood? They're a little like 9, 10-year-old kid.
I've seen certain promotions promote certain videos with people, like people's kids doing top rope dives. Why? If you
Very risky.
I don't agree with the training. If you're going to do it in any capacity, keep it on the
Keep it
fucking
in the ring.
ground.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it
Do
on the
not.
ground. Keep it in a safe and secure environment. Don't risk it by doing quite literally what is known in the wrestling business as high risk. It's null and void, in my opinion. There's no place for it, really.
The one thing I'm very concerned about, do these people have DBSs?
And give me
What
your
are
money.
you going to do if someone files a report and you are, no matter in what capacity, you can take this as wrong or as right as you want, literally physically touching kids? What are you going to do if the police goes and says, well, are you qualified to work around children?
That's a good
So
point.
I have encountered a scarily alarming number of people who have both never been DBS checked, never had any form of like formal training to work with children, have never worked with children outside of this, and are just given a group of kids to train. And no, I do want to say this was not in my company. There is also a depressing amount of companies that aren't insured to begin with. And when it comes to a kid, a lot of these places are one bad match away from going bust and just going bankrupt. And I don't think anybody really realizes that, and they're not going to until we get a really bad accident over here. And I think that's what it's going to take. There's going to be a horrible thing happen, and then it might get taken seriously, and people might pull their heads out of their arses and decide, you know what, maybe we do need a structure, maybe we do need to do this properly, maybe we do need to, letting fucking 8-year-olds in the ring.
I'm very surprised we haven't brought up one promotion since we've been naming every other one under the sun. So all I'm gonna say is back pigeon, death match in front of children. I unfortunately had to train in their ring recently. It was covered in mysterious things and bloodstains all over it, and they didn't even have the decency to wash it. So if I have tetanus, if I have fucking, I don't know, syphilis, fucking scabies, or whatever, that's on you guys. That's fucking grim, mate. That is actually grim. It's a key example of weirdos in wrestling. That segues onto something I want to talk about. Weirdos in wrestling that are randomly protected by people. My key example of this is, I might say it, but I might bleep it, I don't know yet. Right. He got me to make a fucking documentary about his life because he said, and I quote, this was a quote to when I said, I've heard you've mentioned allegations against me. Can I ask what they are before I even think about editing this video? He said, I allegedly might have ADHD/autism. One, you don't get allegations of that. Two, right, this is where I will get into the nitty gritty because I'm actually quite pissed off that people defend this person. As someone that has had to deal with a lot of stigmas around autism being diagnosed in 2003, I've had to go through a lot of shit and a lot of bullying from people about the disorder that I can't help having, right? This fucking weird motherfucker, right? He's protected by some big people in the industry who I've heard has a lot of criminal offences, or at least has been accused of it or investigated of it. And this guy wanted me to make a documentary for him. He sends me all the stuff, takes him fucking 3 months to do it, and begs me to hurry up with his documentary when I haven't got all the footage. And then I click on one of the little B-roll footage things he wants. It's a screenshot of one of Bradley's Facebook posts, trying to expose Bradley for being a bully while he's in character.
Which, by the way, that post wasn't even about him in the first place.
I'm like, I'm not doing that, because that guy's my mate, and I ain't gonna promote false slander against one of my mates. So he threatens me, legit threatens me, and goes, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm gonna get the police on you. I want my fucking money back." Which I did. I've got the evidence of it. And he basically threatens me, and he starts sending me voice messages going, "Oh, yeah, well, I'm gonna come to where you live and sort you out myself. I've seen you matches you've had where you basically get actually shoot the fuck beaten out of you for 8 minutes straight. You can't do any back bumps, and you get pinned by some guy who clearly is so pissed off that you can't do anything that he just clobbers the fuck out of you. Sort me out then. I know some of the allegations you've had against you, and he's protected by a lot of people, including someone. Oh, you'll have to know the mystery of the podcast. I'm not going to announce it. And the excuse is, oh, he's got autism. I know the fucking difference, right, between and how that's wrong. Also, it's actually snowing outside. That takes away from this nice little tangent. But yeah, it's snowing outside. It's snowing outside, just like it probably was in that creep's pants. Actually sort your fucking head out. If you work with people, right, with special needs, or, you know, person who experienced it and also has it and knows the difference between the fact that he's fucking wrong in the first place, and if you're then backing that up with, oh yeah, but he's got a disability, but he doesn't understand the difference. I'm sorry, he runs a fucking promotion. He runs a promotion, he runs shows, so he doesn't understand that he can book out a building and book wrestlers and put on a fucking show. No, I'm sorry, that's fucking wrong, mate. That's fucking wrong. If you defend him, you're a fucking wrong on yourself. I'm sorry. I'm not having it.
You are also not the only person he's threatened, like, physically. He's got a bit of a habit of, if somebody drops out of his show for a legit reason, or, God forbid, a few times, somebody's asked to be paid from one of his shows because he's promised pay and then not done it. He's on more than one occasion threatened wrestlers that we've worked with, and they've been like, he said he's going to break my legs. It's like, mate, I don't understand, and I mean this in the nicest way. Coming from someone like myself, I'm quite weedy. I would not be able to contest any of our wrestlers in a physical contest, but I also wouldn't threaten to kick their teeth in because I'm not a moron. But if you're gonna be the big I am, you're gonna be the big scary promoter. Pick your fights that you can win.
I don't really know how that relates to anything said prior. I just wanted to get it off my chest because Bradley went on a big rant. I felt like I needed to do one myself. I'm not going to lie.
Weirdos in wrestling. We were talking about weirdos in wrestling.
Oh, yeah, true. I mean, Bradley used to team with a weirdo in wrestling, so...
Initially, I nearly quit not only the team, but the company. I threatened to leave if they didn't get rid of him. And eventually, they did. But it's ridiculous that it took that long and that amount of bullshit and for me to be like, look, I don't want to be in a team with him. I don't want to be in a company with him. And I refuse to work with you and for you if you're going to allow him to be here. So I'm gone. To which he then, fine, I doubt it was even him, to be honest, it was probably Richard, knowing him, then of course got rid of him. I think it's actually, funnily enough, I was joking about that, but I think it was actually Richard that sent them the termination contract. So yeah.
Little note on that, yeah. I sent out the termination letter, but we were very nice. We went to Spoons, sat down and explained everything. Spoons, as anybody will know, is where you meet the big talent.
So the big boys play.
You got that good shit, pal. Oh, by the way, buttermilk chicken burger, please. That's a mix of fucking Vince McMahon and Gilbert Gottfried. I'm pissing and shitting and coming.
Yes, I agree. There's far too much protection on wrong-ends and absolutely vile, people. Again, to mention the people within NSOR and management, there was a certain someone that coined that the speaking out movement ruined the wrestling business.
Is
How
this the
dare
same
you?
person that
Yes, it
accidentally
is.
liked a transphobic post?
Yeah. What, don't you mean, oh, he didn't like it, he heart reacted it, but apparently he just did, like scrolling along. But what you don't realise when you react to something, instead of just scrolling along, you actually have to go, "Ooh, swipe along." But apparently that's all he did, he just swiped along and accidentally heart reacted to it, even though you actually have to press on and slide along to the react. But we'll leave that there. Transphobia, lovely, that's your current champion, but then again, not your current for long, because you're going on hiatus in a few weeks, and you're definitely gonna be back.
Well, I'm gonna just drop in here. There was me all excited for my new project, and I think this episode is quite possibly going to get us blacklisted from every local promotion within the
I
area.
mean, it's not our fault, again, that we have the balls to say that nobody else has the balls to say. But hey, what is it? Like I always like to say, what is it that people don't like to hear? What's that famous phrase, the truth hurts? What is it that people don't like? The truth. That's why people get so pissy and angry and like, oh, no, not having any of that. Because they know it's the truth.
How about the simple message of, if you don't want to get exposed for doing bad things, don't do bad things.
Before we end, and I'll let you talk in a minute, Richard, pay people, commentators, referees, managers, photographers, videographers, and especially the fucking talent. That is the one big regret of my career. I never asked once to be paid. I should have done. Sure, I was only a few years into the business, and sure, I wouldn't have needed nor wanted a shit ton of money. 10, 20 quid, I'm good. That's fine. That sorts me out a train or a bus or a taxi. But pay the fucking people that are literally putting their bodies and their lives on hold for your things to go ahead. You stingy fuckers. If you can't afford it, don't open a business. It's as simple as that. You can't afford to pay the talent and pay the people that make your shows happen. Pretty fucking simple. Don't fucking open a fucking company, innit? Dickhead. Yeah.
Bit of free advice to all the wrestlers out there that have watched that little rant and think, yeah, do you know what? Fuck it, I do want to be paid. I do want to get my foot in the door. There is a union for wrestlers within the UK. They're called Equity. You can find, just Google Equity Wrestlers Network and absolutely get yourselves involved with them. Take some advice from them. Start setting your rates and demand payment because, yeah, you shouldn't be putting your body on the line for nothing. I mean, also ideally, a good promotion would have public liability, so even if they did get sued, it'd get covered. But not a lot do.
I've got everything out, to be honest. I feel a weight lifted off my shoulder. I feel good.
This is like the biggest therapy session for Bradley ever, and I don't know how the edit of this is going to turn out.
But anyway, yeah. Trav, if you've got anything else to talk about, plug or whatever, before we end this off?
No, I haven't, but if you're a reputable wrestling company, because I imagine the local ones will now just blacklist me, I'm probably going to need a new place to call home for filming, so TC Edits. Thank you.
Richard, my
I
friend.
would like to say, if anybody at all is interested in, one, if you've been mentioned and you want to defend yourself, DM me, let's sort out an interview. I'm doing a little side project. We're going to be going into the UK wrestling scene in minute detail and digging up some dirt and talking about what needs doing better. So either come defend yourself if you think your promotion's up to standard, or if you've got your own horror story, come let us know. And let us know in the comments as well, because we want to see all of your lovely names interacting with us.
This might have been a teardown in a sense, but at the end of this, what we're trying to do is build it back up. We've been in the fires and in the wars and seen the dregs. So we know what we're doing, we know what we're talking about. We know what we need to do to help, and this is exactly what we're doing to help with Richard's project coming up next year. So as Richard said, if you've got an issue, if you've got something to say, message Richard and take it from there.
It's like real pro wrestling. If people come for us on here, we are putting our bodies on the line, and I won't be getting paid for it, Bradley, so I'll be suing you, mate.
I'll take it up with HR. Hi, Richard.
Oh, sorry, you do fuck all for this podcast, so shut up.
Go fuck
How
yourself.
dare you?
Go fuck yourself.
This is ironically the project I do the least on.
Thank you once again to my wonderful co-hosts, Richard and Travis. Take care of yourselves. Give us a star rating and a like on all the socials at Breaking Brad Pod. And of course, listen and watch and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Again, just at Breaking Brad Pod. Take care of yourselves. Wrestling is a lovely business, but it can fucking break you. And today on the Breaking Brad Pod, we might just do a little bit more damage. Bye-bye for now. In a business called professional wrestling, be professional.